The winner of 5 Grammy Awards, the prestigious Kennedy Center Honor, and the National Medal of Arts, Jessye Norman was born into a musical family September 15, 1945 in Augusta, Georgia. An African-American opera singer and recitalist, it is stated that her voice was an object of unbelievable awe, a phenomenon over which singers of the future can wonder and weep. Alex Ross in The New Yorker. The racial barriers that had blocked Marian Anderson's operatic career were lifting by the time Norman began making her way. Still, like Miss Anderson and many others before her, she found fame in Europe first. While she was still in her 20s, she was winning acclaim at Deutsche Oper, La Scala, and Covent Garden. Her New York Metropolitan Opera debut did not come until well in her late 30s. Unfortunately, we lost Miss Norman in 2019 after a singing career filled with philanthropy and a love for music. As part of the Somerville K-8 Musician of the Month series, students are encouraged to not see each musician as simply a historic figure, but as a real person. With this in mind, the siblings of Miss Norman graciously agreed to be interviewed by inquisitive Somerville students to answer questions that cannot be found by reading articles or news clippings online.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I attend the Healy School. I have 2 questions about Jessye Norman. 1. What inspired Jessye Norman to start singing and play the piano at such a young age?
I think the thing that started Jessye singing and playing at such a young age is rooted in our growing up. And we grew up in the segregated South. And I think that culture as a part of education has traditionally been a hallmark in the African American community. And with that, music has been one of the overarching cultural expressions that you see in singing and dancing and musical instrumentation. In our family, my mom and my dad encouraged our natural gifts. Jessye had a natural gift for singing. And like all of us, our parents enrolled us in private piano lessons at a very early age. And I would say that Jessye enjoyed singing as a child. She sang in the children's choir at church. And because she has such a little voice, she sang on programs. And she enjoyed doing that and practicing the piano. And later, I think she would discover that she really liked classical music. So I think that's the root of her starting to sing and to play piano.
Hi, my name is Taekwon and I attend Winter Hill Community Innovation School. Who was Miss Norman's musical inspiration?
The foundation for Jessye's musical beginnings was really in our family. We had a piano, always had a piano when we were growing up. We all took piano lessons. My mother was a trained educator, but she wasn't a trained musical instructor. So when it came time for us to get our piano lessons, as we came along, we got our initial lessons from a woman from our home church. Her name was Mrs. Golden. And if you needed advanced training beyond that, you would go to a more advanced instructor. None of the males in the family made it past Miss Golden, we converted to musical instruments after that initial piano exposure. I played trombone, my older brother played the tuba, and my younger brother played trombone. Jessye, however, did go on to get additional piano training from Mrs. Rosa Sanders. Rosa Sanders was a junior high school music teacher that gave her more training with the piano and also began to work with her regarding her voice. It was Mrs. Sanders that took her to many musical competitions. It was Mrs. Sanders that took her to the Marian Anderson voice competition in Philadelphia while she was still in high school. And it was Mrs. Sanders that arranged for her to have an audition at Howard University in Washington, D.C. As a result of the audition, her sister received a scholarship to attend Howard University. And that's where she really strengthened her musical foundation before she went on to the University of Michigan and beyond.
My name is Bella, and I attend the Argenziano School. What was Jessye Norman's favorite outfit to wear in an opera or a show?
Now, in terms of Jessye's favorite outfit, the real answer is whichever one she was wearing at the time that she was wearing it. She had a real eye and flair for fashion. She loved clothes. She loved looking fabulous. And so she was really involved in the design of her costumes and the materials that they were going to be made of and all of that and what they were going to fit like. And I would say that if I were going to choose a character that she was playing where the outfit she thought might have been spectacular, it would have been Ariadne. And in that particular, when she was playing that particular character, she had on a sort of dark royal bluey kind of gown and jacket, and it was floor length, and it was beautifully designed with jewels, all over it. And she wore a tiara, with that from one side to the other. And it was just stunning. She was stunning, and as she walked across the stage in it, it was just fabulous. And I think that she truly enjoyed wearing that particular outfit.
Hi, I'm Ramona. I'm in 3rd grade and I go to the Benjamin G. Brown School. Did Jessye Norman have a favorite opera role, or did she like all of her roles?
Well, in terms of her favorite roles, Miss Norman did not believe in singing roles where women were victims, where they were being downtrodden or victimized in multiple ways. She just did not believe in that. She wanted to be strong and triumphant. So she chose roles that were of a certain level of complexity and where the women were strong. And I think that is one of the reasons why she is held at such high esteem. She performed many roles that were written by German composers such as Strauss and Wagner, and that had very complex storylines and that were really more difficult to sing. And she was practically specialized in them, I would say. For favorites, I am going to go with that Ariadne is the role that she played in Ariadne of Noxious. And the other role that comes to mind that she sang a little bit earlier in her career was Elizabeth in Town Hall Plaza. And I hope that you have the opportunity sometime, someday, to learn and explore those plots in those particular arias. They are complex and sort of, interwoven, but they are great plots. They are as good as anything that is on TV, and I'm sure you'll enjoy.
Did Jessye Norman have another special talent other than her amazing singing?
In terms of her talents and gifts, Jessye had a real gift for cooking. She loved to cook. She would make jams and applesauce, um, and she loved to cook from recipes. She loved to develop recipes for herself and have friends over, and she would do the cooking. And she also had a green thumb, and she just loved to grow stuff and get out there herself and put her hands in the dirt and watch things grow to whatever they were going to be, some beautiful plant or a lovely flower or even some fruits and veggies.
Hi, my name's Reason McCorder, and I'm representing the Kennedy School. The Kennedy School's question is, did Miss Jessye Norman ever get in trouble with your parents? If so, how?
She did not get into any serious trouble. She did get in trouble regarding her chores. Our chores were mostly done on Saturdays, and she often took too much time to get her chores done because she was spending too much time listening to the Texaco Metropolitan Opera broadcast. And so she had to learn how to multitask, get her chores done, and listen to the broadcast.
What kind of music did Jessye Norman like other than opera?
Well, in terms of the kind of music that Jessye liked, she had a wide palette of musical taste. She loved jazz, both the vocal and instrumental. She liked modern R&B. She liked Whitney Houston in her day, and she liked traditional gospel. She liked Shirley Caesar and Richard Smallwood, whom she was one of the alma maters she had with Howard University, and she even liked a little rap. I bet that surprises you.
Did Jessye Norman have any childhood struggles? Thank you.
No, I would not say that my sister had any struggles growing up that would not be typical of other children. Though we lived in a highly segregated community growing up in our hometown of Augusta, we were protected by our family from some of the practices that were taking place at the time. My sister had lots of girlfriends, was active in school activities as well as church activities. There was a particular neighbor that we had that she wasn't particularly fond of. Mr. Tillman had a dog named Brownie, and my sister didn't really like that dog. And sometimes he would sort of torment her about that fear. I remember once she was getting ready to go to the store, and he took a tennis ball and threw it right at her heels. And she didn't really see it coming. And before she knew it, Brownie was right at her heels, but he was there just to retrieve the ball that Mr. Tillman had thrown. And she was very displeased by that. So maybe we'll call that a struggle, but otherwise, no, normal childhood, normal activities in a very supportive family.
My name is Jacqueline Zoe, and I attend the East Somerville Community School. My question is, what was Jessye Norman's favorite song growing up?
Now, Jessye's song, her favorite song growing up, well, now I really don't know. But I am aware of some of her earliest solo numbers, and they included No Man is an Island, You'll Never Walk Alone, which she continued to like, I think, just kind of all of her life. She would reference that song. She liked it. And many, many hymns. She used to sing when she was young and sort of in Augusta and required to sing on programs. She'd sing hymns, and she would do those in combination with some of her friends. They would do duets and they would do trios. So I don't know what her favorite was, but that is at least some of her young musical history.
Hi, my name is Nora, and I attend the Winter Hill Community Innovation School. When and what was Miss Norman's first gig? How did she feel performing publicly for the first time? Thank you for your time.
Well, I'll take the second part of your question first in terms of how does she feel performing for the first time. And let me tell you that we were all involved with performing in church at an early age. So the whole idea of getting over stage fright was something that we dealt with very early on. It's natural, however, to feel some anxiety, even when you have been performing for a long time, when you are anxious to make sure that you do your best, you deliver your best and top performance, and so that's something that you never really get over, but you overcome it because you prepare to overcome it. So when did she first get paid for performing? I don't really know. I think probably sometime in college, because when she was in elementary school and in junior high and high school, she certainly received a lot of attention and accolades for her performances, but it probably wasn't until she got to college when she was performing at some community event while she was in school at Howard University that she may have received an honorarium or a donation here or there as a struggling college student, but that would be it.
Hi, my name is Oz, and I go to the Argenziana School. What was your favorite song that Jessye Norman performed?
So in terms of my favorite song, I think I loved anything that my sister was singing. Probably not just because of the breadth of her talent, but just because she was my sister, my big sister. And when I think of favorite songs, it is not even one of the beautiful, beautiful arias or one of the leader songs or even one of the Gershwin numbers or anything, but it would be a traditional African American spiritual, which became her signature song. He's got the whole world in his hands. I used to love to see her sing that.
Hi, my name is Aiden. I go to West Somerville Neighborhood School. I have many questions about Jessye Norman because she seems like a very interesting person. My main question is, what made her choose opera as her main singing style?
For some reason, as early as when she was in elementary school, she liked to listen to the opera on the radio. People listened to a lot of radio back then. And on Saturdays, there was a program that would come on from the Metropolitan Opera, sponsored by Texaco. And Jessye would religiously listen to that program and was inspired by it. But I can't say that at that time that she knew she was going to become an opera singer, an opera star. I believe that her direction to do that came about when sometime between, say, high school and early college, when she was being steered in that direction by people that knew music and were awed by the quality of her ability to sing, and were telling her that she could make it as an opera singer. And as she went on to Harvard University and under the training of Carolyn Grant, and then on to University of Michigan under Elizabeth Marion and Pierre Vanek, she accepted the real possibility and then devoted her life to that type of singing. But I would say that once she really had received broad acclaim as an opera singer, once she's gone through the paces of singing some of the most difficult, pieces out there, she felt comfortable broadening her repertoire, and she began to get into jazz, more into various types of popular music, even though opera remained the foundation. She, in the last, say, quarter of her career, she showed her versatility in many forms of song.
Hi, my name is Enid Malaya, and I go to West Somerville Neighborhood School. And my question is, has Jessye Norman ever performed in a movie? Bye. Thank you.
Well, in terms of movies, Miss Norman did not perform in movies. She did not feel that she could control the quality of her performance in a movie setting, and therefore she turned down actually a number of movie and TV show opportunities. So the only images of her performing are on DVD from concerts that she performed all over the world, as well as some opportunities when she was filming during one of her recordings.
My name is Daniel, and I attend the East Somerville Community School. My question is, did Jessye Norman ever want to do anything else other than opera singing?
At some point, junior high, high school, she talked about maybe wanting to be a doctor. And I think by the time she got to Howard University, she was still sort of thinking along those lines, but of course, it would have been difficult to, be a pre-med and also do what needed to be done to try to become a great opera singer. So she gave up the idea of going the medicine route, but she didn't give up the idea of being an armchair doctor, meaning that if you ever were around her and you talked about some illness or ailment, you could always get a prescription from Jessye Norman, whether you asked for it or not. In addition to being an opera singer, she was a great philanthropist. Got a little tongue-tied there. And she gave her time to many great causes, like the Balm in Gilead, which was an organization that focused on supporting people with AIDS. She was involved with the Meals on Wheels program, providing meals for senior citizens who couldn't get out. She was involved with the National Girl Scouts. She was involved with the New York Public Library. She was involved with the Dance Theater of Harlem and many other charitable causes. So she was a singer, but she was also a philanthropist and a humanitarian. And later in her career, she was also a trustee at her alma mater, Howard University.
Hello, my name is Jefferson, and I attend the East Somerville Community School. My question is, did your parents support the idea of your sister becoming an opera singer?
Once it was clear that she had a special voice that had potential, this being confirmed by her getting the scholarship to Howard University and becoming a star there, and getting additional scholarship to Howard University, placing in a voice competition at the Metropolitan Opera when she was yet in college. It became clear that that was a real possibility, and that was embraced by my parents. But initially, there was some reluctance because think about the early 1960s and the careers that were available, the steady careers, steady, S-T-E-A-D-Y, steady, careers that had decent pay connected to them for African Americans in those days. So primarily you were talking about teaching, or you were talking about being in law, being in medicine, maybe being a minister of a big congregation, or working for the post office. So things were beginning to open up, but they weren't that broadly open at the time. And so the idea of, going off and on a different track was a little, shall I say, a little scary. We were raised in Augusta, Georgia, home of James Brown. And so he was an example of a successful singer, but he was singing popular music. That's different from singing classical music. And the acceptance of a person of color into the realm of operatic music was different than going into popular music. And so my parents had good reason to be reluctant, but in the final analysis, what they focused on was us getting a sound education and then making our own choices from there. And we weren't steered or directed into our different careers. We all were doing something different. And Jessye chose opera, and that's the way it happened. And it was a good choice.